The champagne glass slipped from his hand and shattered on the marble floor. Every head in the ballroom turned. But he didn't notice. Because across the room, his fiancée was whispering to a man he had never seen before, and she was sliding something into his pocket. His heart stopped. He stepped closer, careful, silent, hidden behind a pillar. The orchestra continued playing, but the music now sounded distant, hollow. His pulse thundered in his ears. "Tonight," she whispered. The stranger nodded. "And make sure he signs it before midnight." The billionaire felt the ground shift beneath him. Before he could process it, the stranger turned slightly. Their eyes met. Just for a second. Cold. Sharp. Dangerous. The man immediately reached for his phone. The billionaire knew. Instinct screamed. Something was very wrong. He turned to leave, but suddenly 2 security guards blocked his path. "Sir, Mr. Carter wants to see you in the study." "Urgent." "Mr. Carter?" That was his own head of security. A chill crawled down his spine. He forced a smile. "I'll come in a minute." "No, sir," one guard said firmly. "Now." The billionaire's breathing grew shallow. Across the room, his fiancée lifted her champagne glass and smiled at him. But it wasn't her usual warm smile. It was calm. Calculated. Like she already knew what was about to happen. He stepped backward. Then suddenly, the lights flickered. Only for a second. But when they came back, the guards were closer. Too close. His instincts exploded. He turned and ran. Gasps filled the room. Chairs scraped. Someone shouted. He pushed through the crowd, ignoring confused voices calling his name. Behind him, heavy footsteps followed. "Stop him!" The word echoed like thunder. He burst through the side door into a dim corridor. His expensive shoes slipped on polished wood, but he didn't slow down. His mind raced. How? Why? Who? He reached the emergency stairwell and shoved the door open. The sound of pounding footsteps grew louder behind him. They weren't trying to stop him politely anymore. They were hunting him. Just hours earlier, everything had seemed perfect. He was one of the youngest billionaires in the country. His tech company had just secured another massive deal. The press loved him. Investors trusted him. And in 2 weeks, he was supposed to marry the woman he believed was the love of his life. Emily. She had entered his life 2 years ago at a charity gala. She was kind, soft-spoken, and always seemed uninterested in his wealth. She worked as an art consultant and preferred quiet cafes over luxury restaurants. He loved that about her. She made him feel normal. She told him she admired his heart, not his money. She cried when he proposed. She insisted on a simple wedding. Everyone said he was lucky. Even his closest assistant once joked, "Sir, she's the only person who looks at you like you're not a billionaire." He believed it. Tonight's engagement party was her idea. Just something small, she had said. But the small gathering turned into a grand celebration filled with business partners, investors, and influential guests. He didn't mind. He trusted her. He trusted her completely. Until 10 minutes ago. He ran down the stairs 2 at a time. His chest burned. On the landing below, the door swung open. Someone stepped in. He froze. It was Mia, the hotel cleaner. She often worked late shifts and had accidentally spilled coffee on him months ago. He had laughed it off and later helped her pay for her mother's hospital bills. She looked shocked. "Sir? What? Help me," he whispered urgently. Behind him, footsteps thundered closer. Her eyes widened. Without asking questions, she grabbed his sleeve. "This way." She pulled him through a service hallway filled with cleaning carts. The air smelled of detergent. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead. "Hide here," she said, pushing him into a narrow storage room. They both squeezed inside. She quietly closed the door. Outside, heavy footsteps passed. "He came this way. Check everywhere." The billionaire held his breath. His heart pounded so loudly he feared they would hear it. Mia's hand gently pressed against the door, keeping it shut. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, silence. He exhaled slowly. "Thank you," he whispered. She looked at him, confused. "Sir, what's happening?" "I don't know," he admitted. "But I think someone is trying to trap me." Her face paled. Before she could reply, her phone vibrated. She glanced at it, and her expression changed. "What is it?" he asked. She hesitated. "They just locked down the building." His stomach dropped. "They announced, they're looking for you." He felt the walls closing in. "They're saying you stole confidential documents." His eyes widened. "What?" She nodded slowly. "They're calling the police." A new wave of fear washed over him. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a setup. And it was bigger than he imagined. Mia looked at him again, now with determination. "We need to get you out of here." He stared at her. A hotel cleaner. The last person he expected. But right now, she was the only one on his side. Outside, a door slammed. Voices returned. "Closer." Mia grabbed his hand. "There's a back exit through the service tunnels. But it's risky." He nodded. "I trust you." She opened the storage room door slowly. They slipped into the hallway. The lights flickered again. And somewhere behind them, someone shouted his name. The hunt had started again. They moved quickly through the narrow service corridor. The walls were bare concrete. Pipes ran overhead. Every sound echoed louder than it should. The billionaire's polished shoes felt out of place in the dusty hallway, but he kept moving. Mia walked ahead confident, like she had memorized every turn. "This way," she whispered, pushing open a metal door. A cold draft rushed in. They stepped into a dim underground tunnel used for deliveries. The air smelled of oil and damp cement. Behind them, voices grew louder again. "They couldn't have gone far. Check the service exits." The billionaire's pulse raced. "They're closing in," he said. Mia nodded. "We're almost there." They hurried past stacked crates and idle carts. The only light came from small emergency bulbs that flickered weakly. Then suddenly, footsteps echoed from the other end of the tunnel. They both froze. Two men in suits appeared, scanning the corridor. Not hotel staff. Security. "Back," Mia whispered. They ducked behind a stack of boxes. The billionaire held his breath. One of the men walked closer, his shoes scraping loudly against the floor. The billionaire's heart hammered. If they were found now, it was over. Just as the man reached the corner, Mia kicked a small metal bucket across the opposite side of the tunnel. It clattered loudly. The guards turned instantly. "Over there!" They rushed toward the noise. Mia grabbed his hand. "Run!" They sprinted in the opposite direction. At the end of the tunnel, she pushed open a rusted door. Fresh night air hit his face. They stepped into a dark alley behind the hotel. He exhaled deeply. But the relief lasted only seconds. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Blue and red lights flashed at the front of the building. "They're already here," he said. Mia looked around nervously. "We can't stay." They hurried down the alley. Rain had started falling, soft at first, then heavier. The city lights blurred through the wet pavement. "Where do we go?" he asked. She thought for a moment. "My apartment. It's small, but no one will look there." He hesitated. A billionaire, hiding in a cleaner's apartment. But he nodded. "Let's go." 20 minutes later, they entered a modest apartment in an old building. The room was tiny. A worn couch. A small table. A single lamp. But to him, it felt like a fortress. He sat down, finally breathing. Mia locked the door and pulled the curtains closed. "You're safe for now," she said. "For now," he repeated. His mind raced. Emily. His security chief. The fake accusation. It was too organized. "This wasn't random," he said quietly. Someone planned everything. Mia sat across from him. Who would do that? He swallowed. My fiancée. Her eyes widened. He explained what he overheard. The whisper. The stranger. The sudden lockdown. Mia shook her head slowly. That's terrible. He leaned forward, frustrated. They're framing me. If the police find me, I look guilty. Then you need proof, she said. He looked up. She was right. They must have something, he said. Documents. Messages. Anything linking them together. Where? She asked. My office. My home. Or. He paused, realization dawning. The study. The study? She asked. That's where they wanted me to go. They probably prepared something there. Silence filled the room. Mia spoke carefully. So, you have to go back. He nodded slowly. It was dangerous. But it was the only way. We sneak in, he said. Get evidence. Then expose them. She took a deep breath. I'll help you. He looked at her, surprised. You don't have to. She smiled faintly. You helped my mother when no one else did. I won't abandon you now. Emotion tightened his chest. Hours ago, he trusted the woman he planned to marry. Now, the only person standing beside him was someone he barely knew. And she was risking everything. Near midnight they returned to the hotel. They approached from the back, staying in the shadows. The rain helped cover their movement. Security had increased. Too many guards, Mia whispered. He pointed toward a side entrance. Employee door. They slipped inside. The hallway was quiet. Lights dimmed. Most guests had left. They moved carefully, avoiding cameras where possible. Mia knew blind spots. Your office? She whispered. Second floor. They climbed slowly. Every creak sounded like thunder. At the end of the corridor, the study door stood slightly open. He froze. They're here, he mouthed. Voices came from inside. Once he's arrested, everything transfers to her. Good. And the signed documents? Already prepared. His blood ran cold. They were still there. Mia whispered. We need evidence. He slowly raised his phone. They edged closer to the door. Inside, his fiancée stood beside the stranger. His security chief sat at the desk. Papers spread across the table. The stranger laughed. He never suspected a thing. Emily smiled. He was too trusting. The billionaire felt his heart shatter. He recorded everything. Every word. Every face. Every betrayal. Then suddenly, the floor creaked beneath his foot. The voices stopped. The door swung open. Emily's eyes widened. It's him! For a split second, no one moved. Rain tapped softly against the tall windows. The room felt frozen in time. The billionaire's phone was still raised, recording. Emily stared at him, her expression shifting from shock to anger. Grab him! The stranger shouted. The security chief lunged forward. Run! Mia whispered. They turned instantly. Footsteps thundered behind them. The billionaire's heart slammed against his ribs as they sprinted down the corridor. He has the recording! Someone yelled. That made them faster. They reached the stairwell. Mia pulled it open, and they rushed down. Voices echoed above them. Doors slammed. Radios crackled. They're blocking the exits, Mia said, breathless. Parking garage, he replied. They burst through the lower-level door and ran toward the underground parking area. The wide concrete space was half empty, shadows stretching between pillars. They ducked behind a parked SUV. They'll search here, she said. He nodded. We just need a minute. His hands trembled as he checked the video. The audio was clear. Faces visible. Everything they needed. Suddenly headlights flicked on. A black car rolled into the garage. Emily stepped out. Her heels echoed sharply. You can stop running, she called. You have nowhere left. The billionaire clenched his jaw. Mia whispered. There's a delivery exit behind that ramp. They moved quietly, staying low. Emily's footsteps grew closer. You really disappointed me, she continued, voice cold. You should have just signed the documents. They reached the ramp. Just as they turned the corner, one of the guards spotted them. There! They ran. Up the ramp. Through the metal gate. Out into the night. Sirens echoed nearby. Police cars passed at the front of the hotel. They're framing you, Mia said. If they catch you now. I know, he replied. They hurried across the street and disappeared into the crowd. The next morning, the city woke to shocking headlines. Billionaire accused of corporate fraud. Fiancée claims he stole company assets. His face was everywhere. He sat in Mia's small apartment, reading the news in disbelief. They moved fast, he whispered. Mia handed him tea. But you have the truth. He nodded slowly. It's time, he said. That afternoon, he made a call. Within hours, reporters gathered outside his company headquarters. Cameras flashed. Social media buzzed. The doors opened. He walked in. Gasps filled the crowd. He's here! Emily stood near the front, pretending to look shocked. You shouldn't be here, she said softly. He stepped onto the stage. His voice was calm but firm. I know what you've all heard. But today, you'll hear the truth. He connected his phone to the screen. The video began. The room fell silent. Emily's voice echoed clearly. He was too trusting. The stranger's laugh followed. Once he's arrested, everything transfers to her. Faces turned toward her. Her composure cracked. The video continued, showing every detail. By the end, the room erupted. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras zoomed in. Emily stepped back, pale. This is edited, she screamed. But then the security chief tried to leave. Police officers blocked him. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Emily's eyes widened in panic. This isn't over, she shouted. But it was. She was escorted away. The stranger followed, silent. The billionaire watched, emotion heavy in his chest. Later that evening, the chaos settled. He stood outside the building with Mia. You saved me, he said quietly. She shook her head. You saved yourself? He smiled gently. No. Without you, I wouldn't be here. He handed her an envelope. She looked confused. What's this? A job offer. My new foundation needs someone I trust. Her eyes filled with tears. You don't have to. I want to, he said. You proved loyalty when it mattered. She accepted it slowly. Thank you, she whispered. He looked at the sunset. Hours ago, he had almost lost everything. But he gained something more valuable. Real trust. Weeks later, he addressed a small gathering at his foundation launch. He spoke simply. I learned something important, he said. Money can attract people, but character reveals who stays when everything falls apart. He glanced at Mia, sitting in the front row. Trust shouldn't be given easily. But kindness should never stop. Because sometimes, the person you least expect becomes the one who saves you. He paused. And loyalty is worth more than any fortune. If you enjoyed this emotional story, tell me, where are you watching from? And here's a question for you. Do you think the billionaire was wrong to test his fiancée, or did it reveal the truth he needed? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful billionaire stories with shocking twists and life lessons.